Welcome back.
Thanks, man.
You're the first return guest.
Yep.
And your episode wasn't even aired.
I know, man. I got a little screwed up.
Yeah, but it's okay. We're back on track now, and we figured out our technical difficulties.
Tried.
Can't really redo the conversation, but we do have some other stuff to talk about.
Definitely.
For starters, I think because we touched on it a little bit, the Paul Logan, Jake Paul, Ben Askren fight. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. I streamed it. That was pretty crazy, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a tough time, almost believing that. I feel like it was rigged.
I think so.
I can't believe,
yeah.
I don't know how someone that wears, 4-ounce gloves and fights in the UFC would...
How he gets knocked out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It seemed a little weird.
Well, so I bought it and I streamed it, and first off, I didn't realize it was going to go so late.
Right, yeah.
And by the time it was 12 at night, I was like, I'm too tired, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm not staying up for this. So I wake up and I read that Jake won. I was like, oh, okay.
Crazy.
I was like, all right, well, I'll go watch it and see what happened. And I go and watch it, and it's in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
He gets hit, and the thing that really bothered me about it was he gets knocked down to the ground, which I was like, that's fine, makes that happens. But when he gets up, he stumbles a little bit like you would, and the ref comes up to him for 2 seconds, checks him, and he's like, yep, you're done, Jake wins.
Yeah.
And it was I don't know. The early stoppage, which is what some other judges were saying, or commentators, they were Mario Lopez was was that early stoppage? And someone Snoop's no, it's fine. Give me my money, Jake. Give me my money. And I was like, I don't know.
That's definitely a hard call to make. That's a hard job to have as a ref to be calling. That's a lot of money on the line and a lot of
$75 million.
Yeah.
Did you see his post?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't know.
That's insane.
I just feel I don't know. I mean, Ben Askren looked like shit though. He did not. He looked like he had no idea what he was doing boxing. I mean, just this whole setup,
his stance looked out of they said it. They're he looks like he's from the 1930s.
Yeah,
boxing.
Literally, it was weird.
Very bizarre.
It was odd. I mean, I guess it's an odd thing to do regardless because most boxing fights or MMA fights, you have people with records,
right,
and you have a decent outline of how they're gonna do, or you got some kind of stats. But in this case, Jake Paul only fought a couple goofy guys that weren't actual real boxers at all. So it's kind of hard to tell, even still, how good of a boxer he is. And then for Ben Askren, the guy's an Olympian wrestler.
Right.
He's a crazy freak athlete, and he had an amazing record for a long time in the UFC. But it was just weird to see that combined. It was pretty crazy. I'd like to see Jake Paul box a real boxer. I think that's what's probably next. To actually test him out, or someone that's at least good at stand up.
Right, because it's completely different.
Yeah, it is. So that was interesting. Though. Crazy to watch for sure.
Well, my other guy who I had here in Jackson, he used to do some jiu-jitsu, and I was talking about how I feel like Jake Paul is almost stretching this thing out as long as he can until fighting a legit boxer.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because he's making a lot of money doing this, but I feel like until he actually fights a real fighter, he could get knocked out.
Right.
But the thing is, and my friend was saying this, he was the problem is a legitimate fighter isn't really going to want to fight him. Yeah. And if he does fight him and lose, his career is over. Right. And it's so embarrassing. Right. So it's who's actually going to step up and be I'll fight the YouTube kid.
Right. It's an interesting. It's cool. I think it's cool. It's what it's come down to.
Yeah.
Because boxing, I don't know. Even all the guys I train with, nobody really watches boxing too much anymore. Everyone watches, the UFC.
Yeah.
So
completely different.
I think it brings a lot of light to the sport for sure, which is cool. But
the whole trailer, the whole thing, it was such a show. Every part of it, it literally. It looked like it was the brainchild of Jake Paul. Right. The whole thing was this is his environment.
Doja Cat and all that. It was pretty crazy.
I was what is going on? I didn't realize I paid for a show this.
It's a music festival with boxing.
Yeah, it was literally the mix between a club, a fight, a music festival, and
then there's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, hot box. It was just the weirdest combination of stuff, and I don't know. I guess that's the future. But
yeah, we'll see.
It was pretty funny to watch.
Definitely.
But speaking of MMA, so I've really gotten into Jocko Wilnix. Wilnix, I always mess up his last name. Mm. His podcast.
Yeah.
And he's a huge jiu-jitsu guy.
Super interesting, yeah.
And he has his own gym, which is so nice. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's got a really cool podcast. I've listened to that a good amount of time.
He's intense.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. He was talking about how a while ago, if you were to like confront someone, like if you saw like a really big guy walking your way, like you would think like, oh crap, like he could beat me up. He's bigger than me. But now, since so many people, just people know MMA, you could have like a smaller guy like still take out some giant yoke dude just because like they now have the skills. And I was like, that is such a crazy thought.
Yeah.
To like think about, because you like grow up thinking, oh, the big guy, like, watch out for him, like, he'll take you down. But now it's like, no, like, the little guy, like, really can take you down still.
Definitely. I definitely have witnessed, or I've definitely been a part of a lot of that, going to Ludus MMA down the street. Like, you'll have a lot of guys come in, and I mean, we do all MMA, you know, we'll do Muay Thai, like that kickboxing, and what we do Jiu-Jitsu, and a lot of wrestling and stuff. But especially like for jiu-jitsu, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu is one of those sports where it really doesn't matter what size you are, like to an extent. I mean, to an obvious extent. But I mean, if you have a guy like me, like I'm 50 pounds, like 155 on a good day maybe, but we'll have guys that come in that are, you know, football players from FSU or UF or whatever, and they'll come in and want to train for a day. And if we're doing jiu-jitsu and if we're doing stand-up too, you know, like it's really, you get your ego hurt a lot in there. A lot of people get their egos really knocked down because you think you're a big, you know, huge dude, big meathead guy or whatever, and you come in there, you get humbled really quickly. So it's really interesting. I mean, how far those skill sets can go. And I mean, we have guys that come in that are weigh 100 pounds more than me, or like just big football dudes or whatever, and they get tossed around, man. It's crazy to see them get walked over. And, you know, it's a lot of cardio. You know, we're going for 5 minutes.
Is that how long a jiu-jitsu rep?
Yeah.
I don't know the stat. Like,
matches are usually about 5 minutes long. I mean, that's how it is in MMA too, so if we're doing, when we're doing stand-up, even Muay Thai and all that, we're doing 5 minute rounds usually.
That's a big difference between 3 minutes,
Absolutely,
too. 2 minutes huge. Longer, like, and you're using your whole body.
Right.
Which I was thinking about this because my friend was saying how he maybe wants to get back into it, and I was commenting on how, like, the problem for me is, like, all the classes are, like, at night and stuff, and, like, I like to do all of my workouts in the morning or, like, during the day or something, and I was wondering what type of physical exertion the classes that you do, like, put on you.
It's absolutely unreal. I've never done any other sport ever, and I've done a lot of sports. I'm, like, fully immersed in plenty of different sports right now. I'm super addicted to a bunch of different things. I just can't stop. But for like physical well-being wise, I don't think like people realize. I mean, they see the guys in the UFC or whatever, and there's like a bunch of dumbasses getting punched in the face or whatever.
Right.
Those guys are like freak athletes. Like, it is a very physically demanding sport. I mean, like training in the gym, like people that come in, you can be a marathon runner. It doesn't even matter. And you'll get super gassed out, and they're trying to stand up or wrestle or whatever, you know, with some of those guys. A lot of guys that wrestle in high school and college, you know, they have a good background in it, or like me, I boxed in high school. But I mean, it's a totally different world, man. And
well, so break down the like typical night training there for me.
So we go. I mean, there is classes too that you can go to at Ludus. They do like a 10 o'clock class in the mornings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. They have like a 9 and 10 o'clock class on Monday through Thursday. So we usually go 4 to 5 days a week. Okay. Monday through Thursday typically, and then we'll go on Saturdays for a couple hours. They have like open mat, so you can kind of go in and do whatever. But so usually what we do is we'll go in at 6, like I'll do tonight, go in at 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock class tonight will be Muay Thai. So
what's Muay Thai? What's the difference?
Muay Thai is basically kickboxing, but with like...
Can you use your hands?
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So it's kickboxing. So you're, you know, using punches, kicks, knees, elbows, all that kind of stuff. And then you can do kind of sweeps and stuff like that for takedowns, but it's not full wrestling takedowns really. So,
okay.
Yeah. So Muay Thai is very like it's very physically demanding as well. It's really just stand-up fighting. And so that is super fun. We'll go in and do that from 6 to 7. And so we got our coach Pedro. He's awesome. He's from Brazil. He's a Portuguese guy. And we'll do that from 6 to 7. And then after that, we'll usually change our shirts or whatever. We'll be soaking wet in sweat. And then we'll change out of that. And then Abraham comes in. He's our Jiu-Jitsu coach, and he's from Brazil as well. And he's actually like number 1 in the world right now for gi and no gi, which is like unheard of. He's like literally the best in the world. And
he lives in
he lives there. And he's there every day of the week. It's crazy that he's our coach. So he comes in and we do jiu-jitsu with him for an hour.
Okay.
And you kind of do a class at first, like he'll explain something to you, try it out slow, and then as the hour goes on, you progress further. And then so we do that from 7 to 8.
And then are you just like practicing movements? Like rolling?
Yeah. So we'll practice the movement like real slow at first, and then by the end of the class, usually we're pretty much going like full live rolls. So
you're just like paired up with someone.
Yeah, you pair up with someone. You can kind of like jump around from person to person, and sometimes we'll switch partners or whatever. But we'll do that from 7 to 8, and then from 8 to 9 is open mat. So then usually we'll do some sparring after, or we'll just keep rolling, whatever. So we're there for 3 hours.
That's a long time.
3 hours a night, but it's crazy because I'll go to the gym, I go to Bailey's or whatever, and I'll lift for an hour, and I'll get a good workout in. But there's nothing like, I don't even feel like I'm there for 3 hours when I'm at Ludus. I'm just we're going like the whole time. It's nonstop. So
what's the difference between the jiu-jitsu and the Muay Thai?
Okay, so jiu-jitsu is all on the ground pretty much. So it's like wrestling. So you can start you start standing up in competitions and stuff like that. So you'll do wrestling takedowns, and then once you get to the ground, instead of in wrestling, you're just trying to pin someone on the ground.
Right.
So in jiu-jitsu, the goal is to submit them, so that which it would be like put them in a, rear naked choke, like, choke them out, or, put them in an arm bar, that sort of stuff,
Okay.
So it's like more submission based. So it goes, past wrestling. So it's pretty cool. So the mixed martial arts, it's like the combination of all that stuff, the combination of, the like Muay Thai, the stand-up fighting, the wrestling for takedowns, and then jiu-jitsu for on the ground.
So when the people who are in the UFC, the pros who do this for a living, they're incorporating all of it at once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we'll do classes where we'll go in for open mat, and you can train each of it individually, which is a pretty sustainable way, I'd say, of doing it, because those gloves, those small like little 4-ounce gloves and stuff that you see guys wearing, those will definitely take a toll on you. Those things hurt, and so it's pretty hard. You can get pretty injured. We get hurt all the time in there.
Yeah, I was wondering what the injury.
Yeah, it's a lot. Right now I might sound a little funny talking. Like my nose is pretty shattered right now. I have a deviated septum, so
this is just from like training.
Yeah, just from getting hit in the face, and like we get a lot of like crazy injuries. A lot of like stuff with your knees, your elbows, wrists. Just, you're getting beat up,
Yeah, and you're literally going there to beat someone up.
Yeah, or you're either beating someone up or you're getting beat up. It's really either one. So, it could be a good day or a bad day, but either way, you learn a lot. And I think it's one of those things where you really have to compensate and really take care of your body out of the gym, So we'll do like ice baths all the time. We do like a lot of just like biking, we'll go bike and do all that sort of stuff, and just try to keep your cardio up and try to eat healthy and all that kind of stuff to maintain, as well as you can, so you can go in there and train your hardest.
Well, the putting the work in outside of the gym is something that I used to be really, really bad at.
Yeah.
Like when I did like the triathlons in college for a little bit, like when I was rowing in high school, like I definitely didn't put the time in, just because I kind of thought to myself, oh, I'm young, I'll be okay.
Right.
But now I actually am working on that. Like I got one of those like massage guns. Like I do the ice baths. I do like the stretching, the roll, like, and then it's really crazy like to see how much it makes a difference.
A huge difference.
Like
huge difference.
I'll be sore, and then I'll use the massage gun and like actively stretch or like bike to like loosen out the legs and stuff, and huge difference. Like, I can perform better the next day.
Absolutely. 100%. That's been a huge, a huge factor, in especially what we do. Like you can't keep doing what you're doing if you're not taking care of your body, you know?
Right. And I mean, the whole point of working out and training is every day you're breaking down certain parts of your body, and then to have it build itself back up and be better, you have to do proper nutrition, proper hydration, recovery, like active recovery, like all of these things you have to like bring in together. Like you can't just go like work out really hard and then just go like sit around.
Yeah.
Like you have
go out
to
and drink all night or something.
Yeah, like you have to let your body do what it's supposed to do to like recover.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. That's been a huge factor for us. Like I was saying, like you're getting beat up, you know, so you gotta compensate for that somehow. And we try our best to do that. It's been a struggle though, you know, like a lot of times we'll be out for a few weeks or something like that here and there. It's really common. I mean, pretty much every week there's something that's hurting. You never really leave a week with, you know, out a small injury at least or something, you know. So definitely build some toughness, I'd say. But
I bet.
It's a really interesting sport. You know, I think a lot of people think a lot of the guys that do it are just kind of crazy and, you know, it looks stupid. I think sometimes from the outside, but I think the guys that are all involved in the sport are some of the best people I've met, and they're all like such crazy athletes, you know, and like training really hard in there. And there are a lot of average people that you wouldn't expect to. And like you're saying, like smaller guys, like they'll beat the shit out of you, you know, like there's plenty of girls in there that would humble a lot of guys I know that think they're big tough guys.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's interesting. It's definitely a different, very diverse sport for sure.
Yeah. So when you're training, you're beating each other up, so to speak. How hard do you push it towards each other?
Yeah, so it depends.
Is there like a breaking point? Like, do you have to be like, all right, like that's enough?
Absolutely. It kind of varies with everybody. You know, some people want to go hard and spar, you know, 100% every day they go in, which, I mean, there's a time and a place for that, I think. But, to be a real sustainable sport, you gotta space it out for sure. And that's why, you know, we start off a lot of the classes going slow. We go through movements, do a lot of drilling.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of, I don't know. Yeah, I guess just drilling,
just like the fundamentals.
Yeah,
like
you can't just be sparring, you know, every single time. I mean, as fun as it is, and you know, as much adrenaline as you get out of it and all that stuff, I mean, you sure learn a lot from it, but it's not sustainable after a while. So you definitely have to space it out, and you know, you don't want to be getting head traumas and all that stuff. And even when you are sparring, a lot of the time we'll be like, all right, let's go 50%, you know, and some people's 50%. And other people's are different, you know? So it's kind of hard, but I mean, that's how you learn. You got to be able to trust your training partners and stuff. Yeah. I think that's where a lot of the respect comes. I think a lot of people don't realize like how much respect there is in the MMA gyms and stuff like that. Right. You know, you really like, if you're going to be a dick and, you know, just go 100% beat the shit out of everyone, no one's going to really want to train with you.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to be able to have those boundaries. But like I was saying, that's something that's like not there at all in surfing. That really bugs me.
Really?
Yeah.
So, tell me about
surfing
that.
Surfing is just such a single, you know, kind of selfish sport.
Yeah.
And that really bugs me.
Well, just the theory of getting a wave.
Yeah, just the whole respect factor behind it. I feel like it's like really frustrating. It's been super frustrating my whole life. You know, everyone's so egoistic, and I don't even know if that's a word, egoistic, whatever. But I think it's a word. Everyone's got big egos and stuff, and I really, really bugs me that, you know, some people think they're such cool guys for, you know, being able to go out and surf well. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, you don't make many friends if you go out and take everyone's waves and you're a dickhead. And, you know, it really bugs me, but that's just how it's always been. So I was I was really happy when I started getting into mixed martial arts and realized that it's more of a family, you know. And I think there's a lot of great people in the surf community around here. But I think there's also a lot of people that are really, really, you know, like localism and all that stuff. Yeah. You know, it goes to a point, you know, there's a lot of respect. You got to have respect in the water. You know, people can get hurt just as well. Yeah. But yeah, it's weird, man. I think it's pretty backwards. I feel like for the way most people see it, you know, a lot of people see surfers as all like the chill stoner guys that are just hanging out. And then you think of, you know, people that do MMA are a bunch of crazy people that are, you know, going out and starting fights. But I just found it to be the exact opposite. You know, everyone I train with in the gym that would, you know, beat the shit out of 9 out of 10 people I know are the super nice, you know, respectable people that, you know, but then a lot of the people that you think are good surfers and stuff, you know, a lot of those guys are not very nice, or at least haven't been to me or, you know, a lot of people in the community. So that's kind of a funny stereotype. I think that's pretty backwards.
No, and I can't speak for the mixed martial arts side, but when I was doing a lot of surf photography, and I would do a lot at the pier because like that's where a lot of the best surfers surf, and it would be people would sometimes it'd be disrespectful to me, sometimes it'd be nice to me. It just kind of depended how they felt about the dude with the camera. Like some people were like, even if they were not nice guys, they'd be like, oh, he might get a cool shot of me, so I'm gonna like kind of be respectful to him. But it was really interesting not surfing and kind of able to be like in the back, like I could like observe it all and see like, oh wow, he is someone I need to avoid at all costs. And I would sometimes be pretty like nervous to be around them, just because they would be. It was always so ridiculous to me because they'd be acting like so manic and intense about something that's supposed to be this like fun, cool sport that we're able to do because we live in a place that has waves and we live at a beach. Right. I was just like, dude, like we can relax.
Way more intense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the intensity is so much higher than it needs to be for someone like, and it's people who are like, they're not pros. They're not gonna be pros. Like they're not on the world tour. Like there's no reason for them to be this intense about it.
Definitely.
And I've known you for a while and I've like known about your surfing for a while, and you are definitely one of the best in Jacksonville. And I've shot a lot of pictures with you, and like we've done a lot of stuff, and you have done a really good job of being respectful of other people surfing and like letting people take waves and like being chill out there. And
it's one of those things that I like. Even when I was younger, I definitely like fell into it for a bit. You know, I'd be like super serious the whole time in the water. And I mean, if the waves are good, you know, and we're surfing the pier, there's a lot of people out. So many. You got to be aggressive to get waves, and that's just how it is. You know, like you got to be aggressive, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to go scream someone off a wave or whatever. I'm not going to go start a fight because of a freaking wave, like, you know.
It's a wave,
But I feel like it's weird because a lot of people be like, oh, you know, don't start a fight over surfing, which I totally agree with. But at a certain point, you know, if someone's, you know, name calling and being super disrespectful, like, it's not even about surfing anymore. Now it's just like,
just personal.
This is just morals. Like, if this was in any other situation, like, you know, you shouldn't be calling someone names or, you know, doing all that kind of stuff. Like, it is pretty intense, especially in the crowded spots, like going to surf the pier or something. But I think it's funny because a lot of people take it, you know, way past where it should be, where, you know, the seriousness of it, you know, we're not surfing pipe, you know, like, I mean, you can still drown in the ocean, you know, anywhere, but I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not the end of the world, you know, it's a couple waves, you know, the waves don't get that great around here all the time. So I know, like, you know, when it does get good, everyone wants their fair share, you know, but, I think it's super weird, the whole, like, the respect part of it, you know, it's really not very respectful, and it's kind of a cool guy mentality that really, really bugs me. So, you know,
it's definitely, it's a bummer to see. And like, I can imagine, I imagine it would be hard for someone who like, maybe they got into surfing when they were like 22, 23 or whatever, like they got a UNF and like they started getting into surfing like now. Like jumping into the scene now,
so hard.
It would be miserable.
Yeah,
it would not be fun at all.
Absolutely. That's why I'm like, and even when I was younger, dude, I used to get fucking made fun of all the time, and you know, like called out of the water, you get yelled at by a guy that's 40 years old when you're 10. Like that's normal. Like that is like normal in surfing. You know, you get those like older guys that it doesn't matter what age you are. You know, you can be a freaking 8-year-old girl or a 60-year-old dude, and you know someone's still getting that. It's like, it's crazy the way that works. You know, there's really no rules and stuff. So I think that whole respect factor has to like definitely play a part somewhere. But I just feel like it's in a weird place a lot of the time. It's not in the right direction. You know. Yeah,
and I wonder if it's at such an intense level because we have such inconsistent waves, and because there's not as many like. I mean, you've traveled a a lot more to like
it's
surfing.
All over.
Is it all over?
It's all over the world. Yeah, wow. I mean,
even like in a place like Cali, where
Australia,
it's constant waves?
New Zealand, like Central America, especially the Caribbean. Yeah, California is crazy, man. Are you kidding me? You go surf lowers. That place is like freaking battleground.
That is very yeah.
I mean, you got to be aggressive to a point, but some people take it way too far. Some people get way too personal about it, and I mean, it sucks. That's the way it is, but there's just no governing body in surfing. It's just such a solo. I was saying, like, selfish sport.
It is a pretty selfish sport when you think about it.
Everything's all about you.
Yeah.
I mean, which is cool to an extent. Like, I played football growing up. I did a lot of like team sports, and I kind of went the solo sport route because I don't really like depending on other people. I feel like I could always do better myself, which I felt like I've proven to myself is probably right. Like I'm pretty successful in some of the sports that I've done. But yeah, I think it's really cool in a sense, but at the same time, it really kind of bugs me because then like if you try to do something like the UNF surf team, we were second in the nation, the other year when we were able to go to nationals, and like great group of kids, like everyone's, super nice people going to school, like college athletes, and
so cool that you guys are able to do
really
that.
Talented. A lot of people hate it. Like a lot of people just freaking hate it, man. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
People like all the kids coming from down south or up north that go to school here and then they want to go surf the pier or whatever. Like I can understand, you gotta be respectful of the people that live here and grew up here.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go hassling a bunch of people for waves and stuff, but sometimes it goes a little bit like more beyond that. It's just like straight out of the gate, they're getting kind of pushed out of the limelight. I don't know. It's definitely weird, but yeah, the UNF surf team is a cool thing for sure. I really want to get back out and compete in nationals, like we did because we were second in the nation, and I don't know East Coast school has ever done that. I don't think so.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So speaking of competing, because I was wondering, so you do a lot of this, the MMA, and it's obviously a huge confidence builder, like doing that and knowing that kind of. Does that affect you, like going into a surf competition? Have you found that you have more confidence for competing?
Yeah, I'd say for sure. I think just maybe confidence in general, and just even when we're in the gym, we're competing. A lot of the days during the week, just, I mean, for yourself, you're in front of someone, and even if you don't want to be competitive, like, you got to be able to, I don't know, play the game when you have to, you can't stand in front of someone and you're getting beat up, you got to do something whether you want to or not, whether you're tired or not, so it really pushes you in that aspect. But yeah, I'd say for competing in other sports compared to that, so we did a jiu-jitsu competition here a couple months ago, and I've been doing competitions my whole life. Like I'm pretty good under pressure for the most part. Sometimes I like perform a lot better when I'm under a lot of pressure, I'd say. And
would you consider yourself like a competitor? Because there's some people who are like practicers, like they're really good at like practice and training, and there's some people who are like they're competitors.
No, absolutely competitor. And I mean, not even really against other people, honestly. I don't really compete to like prove people wrong, really, in a sense, or something like that. I don't really compete to beat another guy, unless it's like one of my friends, like that, then I'm like, I want to beat my friends, but that's like, that kind of like brother mentality or whatever, that you kind of push each other to do better. So I'm definitely like that. But in a sense of just competing, like I really compete against myself. Like that's really all I'm doing at the end of the day. And I want to like prove to myself I can do, 4 different sports and be good at them or whatever, I just like, I want to be as good as many things I can do. And, I think proving that to myself, is most important to me. But yeah, like, when I did the jiu-jitsu competition, this last one, it was crazy, man. Like, not only are you competing in front of a bunch of people, your whole team is there, everyone's watching, but you're competing and you got all the eyes on you. But at the same time, this guy wants to rip your head off, and you get really hurt, So I thought that was super cool, and I got pretty damn nervous. And I don't usually get like that nervous or shaky before, but I mean, when you're going up against someone and you're going into a fight, you know, and you got all these people watching,
fight,
so you're going into a fight, and I can only imagine what it would be like in the UFC or something like that, you know, with all that pressure. I'm sure you get a little more used to it, but I don't know, man. I'm sure those butterflies don't really go away too much.
Yeah.
But I'd say that level of pressure when you're going into a competition when someone wants to freaking kill you versus like going and surfing some waves, you know, that's a lot different. I mean, like, although, you know, surfing means a lot to me, and I've been doing it my whole life, I'm a little more comfortable, you know, being in a surf competition because I've done so much more. I've been doing it my whole life.
That makes sense.
But yeah, no, there's definitely a big difference of a nerve gap there between the two. But it was interesting, you know, you get pushed out of your comfort zone and, you know, feel a little more comfort going into the next one, whatever. But I learned a lot from competing like that. Even at the gym and stuff, you know, we'll have days where you'll have a lot of eyes on you and a lot of people watching, and you know, you can get really embarrassed out there, and that's part of the game. You know, that's why you can't have such a huge ego, because you get humbled real quick in that sport.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned a good point about getting out of your comfort zone, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't do and don't understand. Like, if you look at kids, like, in, like, not to bash on kids in high school right now, or like kids in middle school right now, but like, some people might say they're a little softer, or like every generation has become a little softer, like since like our parents and their parents. Like, it's just, I mean, we have more technology, we have more like opportunities and all that stuff, so it kind of makes sense. But I think when you can find something that you push yourself in, and like you get out of that comfort zone,
absolutely,
it makes you so much better in like every regard.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one thing that is super important. I've always tried my best to just not be scared to be a beginner. And like we were saying, you know, in surfing especially, it's a hard thing to do, to be a beginner right now. You got like all the kook of the day accounts and stuff like that. Like, it's brutal, man. Like, people get like really like
lit up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, just for being a beginner or whatever. And I mean, it's definitely funny. Like, I get a good laugh out of it for sure, but it kind of bums me out a little bit too, you know, to see that kind of stuff. Because I mean, I've been in that spot too, in plenty of sports, like in skateboarding and surfing and, you know, riding dirt bikes, all that stuff. Like, but I think that's one thing, you just can't be scared to be a freaking beginner and just go after something and lose, you know. Like, I'm one of those people that I'm not like super talented or anything like that, and I think it comes off, you know, some people can just kind of in everything, you know. Some people go to school and they can kind of get straight A's, you know, just kind of doing, you know, what they do or whatever. But I'm one of those people that I'm really not like talented in anything. I just like have to work my ass off, and I have to like usually lose at something over and over and over again to, you know, learn my lesson or to get better. I'm kind of one of those people that's like fail until you succeed, you know. Like, I've lost way more surf competitions than I've ever won, and, you know, I failed statistics like 4 times, you know, but I'm still in school and I passed it. Like, and like, I was not like I was just screwing around. Like, I was putting in hours of work.
That class sucks.
Yeah, that class did suck. But I'm just one of those people that I have to keep doing like repetition for effect kind of thing. That's kind of how I have to be with surfing and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy when you finally like break the mold, like when you finally figure something out about something you've been working for a long time, and you're finally like, holy, like, yes, I feel like I got it. Broke a barrier. Yeah, you're like, finally, like, I did it. And then like you just move on to the next thing, and like you just keep going and going and going. Definitely. And you look back and it's been like a year, but you're this much better or whatever it was. Yeah, and I think just not being scared to be a beginner, man, is like really important, and you got to get out of your comfort zone. Like, I feel like one of my like things that just drives me all the time is I want to do as many things as I can do, and I want to be as good at them as I can be. No, I get that. You know, I feel because for some reason, I don't know why, it's like I definitely look up to people that are crazy, like a crazy good athlete, and say whatever sport, you know, could be anything. Could be golf, could be, you know, surfing. I think it's the coolest thing. Yeah, I think that's awesome that people can be like at such a high level. But it also kind of bugs me when you like see someone that can do something so well, but they're just not well versed in like anything else, you know, like maybe they don't like have an maybe they're a dumbass, you know, like Floyd Mayweather, dude. I can't listen to that guy talk at all because he's so damn stupid sounding. I mean, maybe he's smarter than I think, but like it's one of that really bugs me. Or like, do you think he's good at anything else? Like, I mean, do you think he's a good guy or like, I don't know, you know, that just kind of bugs me. Or like, I want to be good at as many things as I can be good at. You know, I feel like trying to be the just super good at one thing is awesome. But like when I was younger, all I wanted to do was surf. And then I kind of realized that I was missing out on a lot of other opportunities. Yeah. Especially growing up around here when you can do so much, you know?
No, I totally get that. And all my friends and people who know me well, I say I go through a lot of like phases because I like to like try a bunch of stuff.
Me too. Yeah, you do as well.
Dude, I'm always on a new thing.
Yeah.
Like, I got that prone paddle board. Yeah. Like I did rock climbing. I did triathlons, rowing, like rollerblading, just like whatever it is. Like it's just but like I love it because I don't see it as a negative because at the end of the day I'm just trying new stuff, trying to find what I love, and I'm learning new skills every time I do something new.
Absolutely.
It's totally adding value.
Absolutely. Like, mentally and physically. Especially if you're doing, you know, physical sports. Like yeah, I'm the same way. And I mean we've done a bunch of stuff together. Like I mean we'll go, you know, do a lot of like lifting and then, you know, you also have that fixie. You got a fixie, is that what it is? Or you just got a road bike. Yeah. I mean you do triathlons and stuff like that. Like I'll do that stuff all the time, you know, go bike, go swim, run down the beach and stuff. Like I think a lot of people kind of narrow themselves to a little bit less. One guy that that kind of, when I was younger, we did a couple of road trips to go to a cable park in Valdosta, Georgia. Mm-hmm. That was like one thing that I kind of got into that, you know, that was like kind of out there at first. Is this guy Zach Knoll, shout out Zach Knoll. We did a couple of road trips with him, and the guy could literally talk about anything, like whether it was like mountain biking or like playing pool or like shooting guns or like just like
those
whatever.
People are the best.
And I was like, dude, this guy can literally talk about anything. Like I want to be like that. And like I've tried so many different things. I always like kind of want to you know, do as much stuff as I can do. I think that's super important.
Well, and I think like we live in like when like our parents were kids or like when their parents were kids, they didn't really have the internet, so like they couldn't like go like look up how to do something. Like now we have so many opportunities to like see what's 100%. Out there. Like that prone paddleboard. There's not a single other prone paddleboard in Jacksonville, Florida. I guarantee. Like I have never seen one. It's like a Cali and like Hawaii thing. Like that's it. And then I like saw it on Instagram and I was like, that looks cool. I want to give that a try. And like I've like done 2 races on it. Like that's just like it's so cool that you can do that. And definitely. You have the ability. Like I don't know. I think it's so fun when you can like
absolutely.
One day you be like, oh, I'm gonna go road bike 40 miles, and the next day you're like, I think I'm gonna go row or I'm gonna go like rock climb.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel like we're also living here. We're super blessed to be able to.
We definitely have a lot of cool stuff around us.
Yeah, definitely. It's that. I think. Also, it's kind of a blessing and a curse, you know what I mean? Because I'll get like fully obsessed with something that's just like so ridiculous or you know, whatever. Like, I don't even know how it started. Oh, so I went out to California last fall. I was out there for a little over a month, just kind of traveling around. All my classes were online. I had some money saved up. And I did a road trip out there, and we were staying, me and Kale Farber, we were staying in a hostel. And they had a ping pong table, and I became fully obsessed with ping pong. Like I could not stop playing. And our buddy Mike was with us too. And so we were staying at this place called House of Trestles. It's right by Lowers. Like you can ride your bike there if you wanted to. And we were out there for over a month, you know. And we'd be like surfing Lowers, and I would literally be out surfing and be firing, and I'd be like, I want to go back and play ping pong. It's so bad right now. And we'd go back and play for hours, and now I get my ass whooped because my buddy Mike was way better than me, dude. And I would literally, like, before bed, I would literally be on YouTube watching videos of, like, professional ping pong players. So, like, I'll get, like, so obsessed, or, like, even if it's, like, playing pool, or, like, if it's, like, I go ride some dirt bikes, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to look at looking at buying a dirt bike for a month, like every day on Facebook Marketplace, like
dude, that's me.
I do that kind of shit, and it's like sometimes it's great, but sometimes I spend a lot of time on looking into and like paddleboarding too. I went through a big paddleboarding kick where I was like searching for paddleboards from like here to Miami. I found a good one in Melbourne, and I was like, I literally almost drove all the way down there one day just to go buy like $1,000 paddleboard. I'm like, this is bad, but
dude, that's me. Like, do you know what surf skis are?
Yeah.
So I literally am a Facebook group member of like 5 different groups, like, and I just have like constant messages going out like, hey, is anyone selling a Epic V10 or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's ridiculous. And my parents are like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's funny. I go through a lot, like go through truck phases. I'll be like looking at new stuff for like my truck for like a month. I'll never end up buying it, but like I just want to like know everything I can about it. That's how James LaCour is also. But
really,
so yeah, he's like just like me in the sense that he just does so many different things. He
does do a lot.
He does. He got me doing a lot of. I wouldn't be like riding dirt bikes if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
Or even wakeboarding a bunch and foil boarding.
Dude, I did a little trip on that. Like
with
Austin Toby.
So much
Shout out
fun.
to Austin.
Yeah.
Helped me out a ton.
He's the GOAT
dude,
on that thing, bro. He's insane.
Absolutely rips that thing like nobody's business.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's super cool to see what he does. Yeah, that stuff is fun, man. That was one of the board sports where like you first get on and you're like, I don't know what the hell.
That was the most humbling thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. You're like, oh, I've been surfing, I've been skating, I can wakeboard, I can do all these things. You get on one of those and it's exact opposite. You're like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Dude, and it's also sketchy.
Yeah.
It's a blade.
You get hurt. Yeah.
Like, and when I took a really nice guy, Eric, he let me borrow one and I took it in the ocean. Like this is the first time I ever used it.
It's tough.
And I take it out there and I am by myself and he finally comes out and I get up and I hop up and I'm like, oh crap, I'm doing it. And then I fall over and I fall like onto the blade and it barely misses me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so dangerous.
Yeah, it is for sure.
When you figure it out though, it's super cool.
Yeah.
It's such
amazing.
a tricky feeling.
Especially when you can be like, behind the boat and you can be like 4 ways back with no rope. Like that's so much fun. And then
it's so crazy.
And then so we started doing it behind the boat and then went out in the ocean and did it a few times. Totally different, but it's like you catch a wave and even when the waves are terrible, it can be 1 foot
and
barely breaking, and you can surf a wave all the way in and then pump all the way back out and catch another one without ever laying down and paddling. It's like it opens so many new doors to like surfing in general, just the ocean. I feel like
that was the big thing that got me really excited about because I was gonna try to have a board or like a watercraft for like every situation. So I was like prone paddle boards when it's dead flat, like hydrofoil for when it's like crummy, crappy waves, longboard, shortboard, like, and then like maybe eventually getting into like kite surfing or something, like when it's just like crazy. Like,
definitely, man.
It gets pricey though.
That's what I was just about to say. I'm the same way. I want to be able to do all that stuff, and I have a lot of opportunities to do some of that stuff. But at the same time, I don't have the time or money to buy all these things. But at the same time, I feel a lot better about myself when I'm buying, something like a foil's like $1,000 or whatever.
It's way more. It's like 2.5, 3.
Yeah, or I'm just saying, just for a basic foil out the board, like they're like, just to buy the foil, So that stuff's super expensive, but I feel a lot better about myself when I'm purchasing that sort of stuff, or spending my money doing that kind of thing instead of buying a new pair of shoes or buying a new outfit. Like materialistic. Like I don't think of buying surfboards and
they're almost like tools.
Absolutely, they're tools for me to like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know, man. Just go have a good time, like sort of thing. Like that's keeps you happy, like keeps your adrenaline pumping. Or it's
like a tool to like experience the world in a newer and better way.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I feel like it opens up so many doors, mentally and physically, like versus
like buying like a video game console or like just stuff like that like you don't really need, and it's like how much value is it really adding to your life? Whereas like this, like it could add a ton of value.
So much value. Yeah,
completely different purposes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely been something I've like had to like think about and like wrestle with too.
For sure. Yeah, it definitely gets expensive trying to
Oh
keep a bunch of hobbies going at the same time.
And then also you have to realize I don't have space for all of this either.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
It's so
put it
crazy.
This way, when usually I have a Pathfinder. I got a 22-foot Pathfinder in my yard. It's a James LaCour's, and he'll keep it over there, and we'll take it out every once in a while or whatever. But he brought it back over to his house the other day, and then we went and rode dirt bikes yesterday.
Yeah.
And so now I gotta swap it out for a dirt bike trailer. We got the 4-wheelers, a couple of dirt bikes, like stuff like that. So it's funny, like
your neighbors are probably like, God, this kid does everything.
People are doing so much. We got like longboards, we got like surfboards everywhere, foil boards.
Oh
like,
my God.
We got like 6 different bikes. Like
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That's so funny.
But yeah, that's the stuff that keeps us going, man. And we're so blessed to live in a place where we can do so many different things like that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can. So
yeah, but you're about to go somewhere which has something that Jacksonville does not.
That is true.
Let's talk about this.
So going out to Waco on Thursday, I think. Really no plan, but yeah, going to surf the wave pool out there, doing a private session. I'm so hyped to do that.
That is such a cool thing.
I didn't think I remember when that wave pool first popped up.
It was a good bit. How long ago was that?
A couple years ago, but I mean, it was like, other than the Slater, wave pool, it was definitely one of the best in the U.S. Like, super fun. I actually knew of that place before they had, before they put in the wave pool, because it had a really good cable park for wakeboarding.
Oh, that's right.
So I think at one point, like a couple years ago, when we graduated high school, I did a road trip across the country with a few of my buddies.
Oh, in the RV, right?
Yeah, in the RV. We were gone for a couple months or something, and we were going through Texas, and we were looking for cable parks and stuff. We had wakeboards with us, and we heard of that place, and then I think like a year later or something, they were like, they put in a wave pool. So I'm hyped to go do that.
That'll be so cool.
A group of guys, it's gonna be cool.
Dude, Texas is like the place to be right now. Everyone is moving there.
Yeah, I don't think people realize like how cool Texas is.
Yeah,
every time I'm there, I'm always doing cool shit. I'm like, I love this place.
I've never been, but everyone talks about it.
Dude, it's fun. I think
wow.
I think what's super interesting is I've done a few trips across the country, and I've also been, all over the world. I've traveled to tons of different places. But I don't think a lot of people realize like how crazy the US like really is. Like I think a lot of people like don't realize how much stuff you can do like here.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to travel to like foreign countries to go see some crazy shit. If you go to Moab, Utah, like you're literally in a different world. Like it doesn't even feel
like Death Valley, that place is it's another planet.
Then go to Colorado, wintertime or summertime. Like I never thought I would like enjoy Colorado during the summertime, because when I was younger, we'd always go out there to ski, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, I love it out here, but I could never live here because
the summer is
good.
Beautiful.
But then, we did a road trip. We went through there. We spent some time in like Steamboat and Denver and stuff. And I was like, this place is amazing. We mountain biked Steamboat, I think.
Epic.
It was insane, man. I was like, this is so much fun. I could totally keep doing this for a long time.
It's a cool state.
Yeah. So I think that's funny. And Texas is awesome, man. We're going to Austin, I think, for a couple days. We're going to go meet up with some people that haven't seen in a while. Actually, some people I met on the road in California. Hopefully going to go see them. Yeah, so
dang.
It's funny, yeah.
You can stop by Joe Rogan.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I know. Go say what's up to him. Maybe go get on his podcast.
Be like, hey, I just was on another one. I'm well versed in the podcast.
I love his podcast, man. I listen to a podcast like pretty much every night. Like
he's so cool.
Yeah, he's got good ones. I'm not on Spotify, so I just watch all the old ones that he does on YouTube. There's so many of them, but super interesting.
I just found out you can watch his on Spotify too. Like you can watch.
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
like it's a video.
Well, so they just I think recently rolled out the feature, and it's only for like select podcasts, like their top like 5 or whatever, and like he's one of them. So I didn't realize that, and I was like, oh wow, I can like watch him.
Yeah, that's super cool. I think it's pretty crazy how how popular like podcasting has gotten, you know, like there's
well,
so many to look through now. Like I've subscribed to so many different podcasts on YouTube, so it's cool. There's like such huge variety you can listen to.
Well, and it's fun. It's fun because you can like hear other people's like thoughts, and you can like learn and like gather information about stuff you would never even like think about.
Yeah, I'm like a pretty bad reader. Like one of those people that reads the whole page and then has to reread it because I don't know what I read. So for me, podcasts are like, you know, me reading a book.
Right.
So I learned so much, and you hear everyone's point of views. Like hear a lot of different views on just everything, and I learned so much from all that stuff. You know, sometimes I feel like I learn a lot more than I do from those that I do in school.
Oh, I 100% can attest to that.
Especially when you're interested in something, you know, or at least interested in the person they're interviewing or whatever. Right. You learn a lot. It's pretty cool.
I haven't found that I've been interested as much with my school.
Yeah, right. As you're like excited to watch a podcast.
Which is just ridiculous, but it's the way it is.
Yep. Definitely.
But well, thank you so much for coming out again.
Of course,
hopefully we got this one all dialed
in. Hopefully.
And have a safe trip to Waco.
Thanks, man.
Get some waves.
Thanks. I'm stoked.